Welcome to the second episode of the Eldenwood Craft podcast. Thank you ever so much for joining me today and spending a bit of time with me. My name's Emma and my podcast is all about my crafty life here in the south of the UK where I live. If you want to follow me online, you can find me on Instagram, on Facebook and on Twitter as Eldenwood Craft. I also have a website, eldenwoodcraft.co.uk, and I'll put all the details down below in the down bar. Show notes for today's episode and all episodes at the moment I'm putting on my website. I don't have a Ravelry group at the moment. Do you know, I think I struggled on that word last time. I can't say Ravelry very well, although I did just then. I don't know if you heard that. I am not filming alone today. Last time I was at home all alone and it was so much easier. Today it's Saturday the 26th of November and the rest of my family are in and around the house. My husband is just downstairs in the kitchen making some mince pies and some stollen, I think. So I don't know if you just heard him drop a metal dish on the floor. If you did, that was the noise. Anyway, so we might get some interruptions. I don't know. So what I'll be talking about today, I've got a lovely pile of things in front of me. Mainly I'll be chatting about what I'm working on at the moment, a little bit of crafty community love, and at my feet I've got a box that I'm going to bring out if I'm brave enough to show you what's in it. I feel a little bit ashamed of it. I think I should call it my box of shame. Anyway, we'll come to that later on, probably. And a little bit of chatter, things that have found their way into my life, and a tiny little chat at the end about my Etsy shop, but I haven't actually got anything to show you in relation to that. I'm drinking a cup of tea in my lovely Robin mug, and you can probably see behind me my Robin candle. Those of you who know me, certainly online, will know that I've got a little bit of a thing about robins. Kelly over at Celtic Cast On. Hello Kelly, I know you'll be looking at my robin and loving that. Anyway, let me just have a last sip of tea. I made this, or actually my husband made it, probably about half an hour ago while I was preparing for the podcast, and I'd hoped it was still going to be hot, but it's almost cold, so I just want to have a quick finish of it and then we'll get cracking. So what have we got to talk about? I just want to say thank you to 3 people, I think. The first one is lovely Zoe, who has the Pins and Needles podcast. Zoe, thank you ever so much for mentioning me on your podcast. It was a real thrill to hear that. So thank you very much for mentioning me. If anybody hasn't seen Zoe's podcast, it's one of my favourites. I always look forward to that one coming out. So go over and have a watch of that. Zoe's lovely. She lives in Wales, and she makes some really lovely knitted items and sewn items. You're very adventurous, Zoe, and fearless, I think, is the word certainly in your sewing and your knitting. And I love to see what you have got on the go. So yeah, as I said, if you haven't watched Zoe's podcast, do, highly recommended. So there have been a couple of things going on online over the last week or so, last couple of weeks, where knitters and crafters have been showing their love for each other, and a couple of people have sent me some really lovely yarny goodies in the post. Now I just want to say a quick thank you to Catherine, who sent me some beautiful minis let me just get them, minis in my blanket. Look at these. That's going to shine in the window. But look, can you see it's 5 moons, beautiful pack of minis. If I turn it round, you'll be able to see that a bit better. Look at those. Really Christmassy, aren't they? So they will be going into my blanket. The pack says it's 5 moons, hand-painted yarn, lunar flares. Oh, how nice. 10 4-ply micro skeins. And what's nice about this actually is that there's a whole range of different fibres in here. Says merino wool, BFL, lamb's wool, alpaca, cashmere, bamboo, viscose, linen, mohair, nylon, silk, stellina, yak. Wow. So yeah, really lovely. I'm really looking forward to getting those into my blanket. Thank you very much. And she also included these really lovely little, really beautiful minis, although that's not really a mini, that's mini, is it? That's quite a lovely sized mini skein. But look, I love the greys and the little pops of colour in that. That's really nice. So thank you ever so much. And the other lady that I want to say thank you to is Kelly. Kelly, as you know, your parcel arrived yesterday, and it was just full of really, really lovely loveliness. Again, for some mini skeins for my blanket. If I just pick these up, you can see, look at those. Move forward. Some really nicely wrapped up, a lovely selection of yarns in here, and as I said to Kelly, there's some really lovely ones that I've never tried before that I've always wanted to. So there's some fondant fibre, some little yellow uke, some of Zena's yarn, some little French meadow. That's really pretty, isn't it? Some Mothie and the Squid. I've never tried Mothie and the Squid before. Looking forward to that. I won't show you them all. However, look at this. This is one of my favourites. That's fondant fibre, her cornflower meadow yarn. That's so pretty. Some more fondant fibre. I am going to end up showing you all of these, aren't I? Oh, look at that. Some little yellow uke. You shall be queen. That's pretty. All's wool that ends wool. Purple rain. Very apt this year. Rosie's Moments. Magic Faraway Tree. Little French meadow. That's funny. Another Purple Rain. Mothie and the Squid, Elephant and Hawk Moth. I like that one. Some lovely Nora George. You know that I love Nora George. Teen GB. Look at the speckles in that. Pretty. Some more Nora George. Some of her Gryffindor sock. And finally, some more Rosie's Moments. Railway Children. Oh, that's nice. Oh, look, you can see the sparkle in that. So, Kelly, thank you ever so much. I really love those, and I'm really looking forward to putting those in my blanket as well. Kelly also gave me a few little treats. Little bar of Thorntons. I have to say, I have promised this to my daughter, but I might be allowed a little bit of it, I would hope. Some beautiful lavender. Do like some lavender. Some tea. And a lovely card, thank you, with a lavender field on. Catherine also sent me a card, my first Christmas card. So thank you, ladies, thank you ever so much. I really, really will treasure those, and I shall think of you every time I put one of those minis into my blanket. So the knitting community has been just really lovely this week. Although, well, the knitting community is always really lovely, but there's been just so much love pouring around on Instagram this week. So thank you to you all who have come by and said hello. Right, on to some knitting. Time to show you what I have been knitting. So I've got 4 whips to show you. Most of them are sitting here in my whip basket. That's blowing out horribly. So let me get started. The first one, I showed you this last time. It was my Spark of Grey shawl by Melanie Berg. It's not finished, however I have had quite a good knit on it. Last time I showed it to you, I was at where this stitch marker is, and I've done all of that. That's quite good for me. I know it's about a month since I last podcast, but it's quite a good few rows. They're getting to be quite long rows now. I'm still really enjoying it. I still absolutely adore the yarn. It's Kettle Yarn Co. Baskerville. I'll show you the two wound skeins if I don't get them too twisted up. So there they are. You can see from last time they are getting smaller. I do really love these. And if you remember from last time, I really loved the smell of them. They do smell so sheepy. It's lovely. So yeah, Kettle Yarn Co. Baskerville in the the Dawn and the Eventide colourways. I'm knitting the shawl on Chalgu 3.5mm needles. Enjoying using them, but as I said to if any of you watch Ellie's podcast Craft House Magic, you will have seen in her most recent episode that she's done a review of needles, and that was really interesting. Thank you, Ellie, I really enjoyed that. We had a little bit of a discussion afterwards about needles, and Ellie had mentioned these needles on her podcast about the bend in them, and she was interested to see how she would get on with that. My view about this bend, in my eyes, it's really irritating me. I love the needles, I love the shaft, I love the cable, but I don't quite understand why that bend is there. If anybody knows, I'd be really interested to find out. I just find it it slows down the movement on as the stitches move up the yarn, and I don't know, I just don't get it. So other than that bend, I'm really enjoying the project still. I would really hope that I have this finished by the end of the year. That is my goal. I'm going to see how far I am into the project. I don't think I've got too much further to go. What I've been doing, I don't know if you'll be able to see that, is crossing off how far I've got. It's a bit messy, I'm sorry. But I need to do 19 repeats of the pattern, and I'm on repeat number, I've just finished repeat number 14, so 5 more repeats of that, and then I'm on to the ribbed border. So I think by the end of the year that will be finished. So that's my Spark of Grey shawl. Down it goes. The next whip to show you is, well, actually it's not a whip. It was a whip, you've not seen it before, and now it's a finished object. I have been knitting, I've been doing a little bit of Christmas knitting. Sorry. I'm doing a little bit of Christmas knitting. I am only knitting one thing for Christmas, I think, unless I have a change of heart over the next week or so. What I've been knitting is the Handbrake Cowl by Kay Jones of the Always Fantastic Bakery Bears podcast. I will not say who it is being knit for, in case you are watching. And I've been knitting it out of Malabrigo Rios, Aran weight yarn. It's the first time I've used Rios, and I had been very tempted to try it by a lot of comments that I'd seen online. So I decided that this was the project for it, and I have to say I did really like using it. It's very soft. Yeah, so this is the colourway that I chose. It was the Jupiter colourway, and you can see there, that's it folded in half actually. I haven't woven in the ends yet, as you will see, and it probably needs a good block, of which more later. But there, lovely, really simple, straightforward pattern, but it just looks really neat, tidy, and warm, and the yarn is lovely. I really like that. So yeah, so that's a finished object. I've got, how much of the yarn did I use? There it is. I've got that much left from a 100 gram skein. So that, I don't know what I'll do with that. I'll find something. And I knit it using Knit Pro Zings. I'm trying to find them in my, oh, here they are. Use these Knit Pro Zings. I do like Knit Pro Zings. They're nice and straightforward, and I think these are 4.5mm needles. They're such pretty colours. Lots of people talk about Zings and not liking the transition between the cable and the needle. I know what people mean, but it doesn't really bother me too much. I've never really had too much of a problem with that. So Knit Pro Zings I will use on a fairly regular basis. Next project is a pair of socks. Now, I showed you these last time. They are, whoops, they are my, well, they are, I'm using Nora George yarns, her Gryffindor colourway. I think I probably said last time that this reminds me of fruit salad sweets that we used to get when we were children. You will notice that this cake of yarn is rather messy, and there's a very good reason for that. The sock that I was knitting last time, I had put some waste yarn in for an afterthought heel, I think. And I, shortly after the podcast, I sat down to do that afterthought heel, and it just went horrendously wrong. I have no idea why, but the edges were just blooming awful, really. So I got really grumpy with it, and I ripped the whole thing out. I couldn't face knitting on. I couldn't face tearing out the heel and restarting it. I was just fed up with it. So the whole lot was frogged back and sat caked for most of the last few weeks. But I picked this up again this week. I think it was probably, I don't know, Tuesday, Monday, something like that. And I just fancied knitting again, and I'd been reading Susan B. Anderson's sock pattern. Is it her SOS sock pattern? I haven't got it printed out, but I've been reading that and reading about her method of doing an afterthought heel, and I just got the bug again. I really wanted to cast on a new sock, so I did, and it's whizzed by. I don't think I've got too many more. Well, I've got a little bit to go before I need to do the toes, but not too much further. And yeah, so the sock itself has whizzed along, and I'm so pleased with the heel. I don't know how well you'll be able to see, but if I show you here, get rid of that, there's no holes. And that's a real first for me. I'm really pleased. So yeah, the afterthought heel there, Susan B. Anderson's method, works really, really well. Yes, very, very pleased with that. Cast on 66 stitches. Why did I do that? 66 stitches. Oh, because I wanted to do a 2x1 rib cuff. And I'm quite a tight knitter. I thought 66 stitches rather than 63 might be better. Yeah, I'm quite a tight knitter, so I use 2.5mm needles, the Knit Pro Zings again, DPNs. I think I may have said last time that I don't really have a preference for either DPNs or magic loop when I'm knitting. But I've knit most of this. Actually, I think I knit the cuff. I certainly started off the cuff using magic loop and then changed to DPNs when I got into the body of the cuff, and I knit the heel using magic loop, and then the foot is being done on DPNs, just what was easier for me and what I had to hand at the time. So yeah, so that's the sock. The heel was knit in this West Yorkshire Spinners poppy, I think it's poppy seed grey. It's a good workhorse yarn for heels and toes and so on. So yeah, so only still on my first sock, but I suspect that will be done. That pair will be done before I podcast again as well, I hope. Right, so that's my shawl, my cowl and my socks. I have one other whip to show you. This is a new one as well, sitting in my loop bag. It's a biggie. The whip itself at the moment isn't very big, but the yarn inside the bag, there's plenty of that. So what it is, I'm knitting the Hollows shawl by Melody of the Mandarines podcast. It's one of my favourite podcasts. I love everything that Melody knits, and her whole aesthetic is just beautiful. So again, if you haven't watched Melody's podcast, most of you probably have. It's no secret how wonderful she is. But if you haven't seen her, go and have a look. So her Hollows shawl, this is the progress, or this is how far I have got so far. Not very far. I'm knitting it out of... Okay, it's blowing out. Will it work better that way? No. That might be better. So Black as Swan, Falkland Islands, 4-ply in the Pale Maiden colourway. It's not really very good for podcasting, is it? It keeps blowing out. It's a very sort of off-white, grey-white colour. It's really lovely. First time knitting with blacker yarns, and it's true what everybody says. It's a really beautiful, soft, squishy, lovely, lovely, lovely yarn. If you've not seen the project before, this is what it looks like. I don't know how well that will come out. I've obviously printed it in black and white. It's quite it's quite deep. It's a long crescent shaped shawl with garter stitch, stocking stitch, and lots of these lovely eyelet rows, and there's some short rows in there as well. It looks like it's going to be just the most lovely hug of yarny scrumptiousness when it's finished. I would imagine it's going to take me a little while to finish, and I cast this on probably about 3 weeks ago. I did that much over the first couple of days, and then I haven't picked it up again because I've been trying to finish my Spark of Grey shawl. I've been doing quite a bit of Etsy stuff, and I've been doing my cowl, so that's kind of taken priority at the moment, but I'm hoping that over December and January I will get this finished. I'm knitting it on Chiaogus. These are Chiaogus without a bend, and I much prefer them. They are, what size are they? 3.5 millimeters, I think. There's the, oh no, 4 millimeters. Size 6, 4 millimeters. So yeah, so that's my Hollows shawl. Don't think there's too much else to say about that. Just really lovely. Everything's really lovely, isn't it? Okay, so that's that's it for my whips. I have done a little bit more on my blanket that I showed you last time, but maybe only 2 or 3 more squares, and I've been posting photographs of that on Instagram as I go, so I don't really need to show that to you today. Now, what I mentioned earlier, my box that I was going to show you, I will show it to you. It's down here. It's my... I feel slightly embarrassed about this. It's my box of shame. It's a box that I have in my wardrobe, and I put all my finished objects in, all my hand knits, waiting to have their ends woven in and waiting to be blocked. And everything in this box, apart from I think 1 pair of socks, 2 pairs of socks, which one of them needs a good soak and block. Everything else still needs its ends woven in and needs a block. Here it is. Oh gosh. That's awful, isn't it? And I thought, the reason I thought I would show it on the podcast is to try and spur me into actually getting all those ends woven in and getting the shawls blocked out, because there must be about 4 shawls in here that I've knit over the last year and just haven't blocked and so haven't worn. So I thought, by shaming myself in public to do it, that would really give me the impetus to get it all done. So I'm hoping that by the time I podcast again, or certainly no, I'm going to set myself maybe a more realistic target. By the end of the year, so in just over a month, I'm going to have everything in this box blocked, finished off, and being able to be worn. There, I've said it, so it's got to be done. While I've got it out, shall I show you some of the things that are in here? I quite like some of the stuff that I've made. Others, I was looking through it this morning, and one in particular I thought, I wasn't 100% sure about it when I was knitting it, and I'm really even less sure about it now, but we'll come to it. Let me show you first of all this pile here, which is the pile of socks that I've knit in the last, I think it's about a year. I was quite pleased when I saw this because I thought I haven't knit many socks, but here they are. Now, for some of you, that would be the sum total of what you knit in a month or 2. For me, this is probably a good year's worth of sock knitting. But it makes quite a nice picture, doesn't it? All those lovely yarns. You'll see in there's some Nora George yarns. There are some Yantan Tethera yarns. Shall I just go through them quickly so you can see them? That's Nora George. I love that blue and gold colourway. That's from her Harry Potter House Crest Club. These, one of my favourite socks that I've knit. You'll have seen these on Instagram if you follow me there. These are oh gosh, what they call the honeycomb socks? No, I can't remember what they're called. I'm going to have a look because I want to know. I'll be back. Yeah, so I went to have a look. Of course, it's the I Heart Bees socks by lovely Nessa Townley, the Kilter Craft podcast. I really enjoyed knitting those, and these were knit out of Coop Knits socks. Yeah, I forget the colourway, but very appropriate. So they need, they don't look like they need too much of a block, but the ends certainly need weaving in. These were Bergère de France, Gumi 50. I can't remember the colourway, but they're rather nice, and finished off with West Yorkshire Spinners. They need ends weaving in. As you will see, look at that. Oh dear. So yeah, some more Nora George, Harry Potter house crest. I really like the green and the grey of these, but can't wear with ends that long, can I? I showed you these last time. They still need their ends weaving. Oh, actually, maybe they don't. These need a block. I want to block these. My oh, my memory is going. I'm not that old. It's the pearl. Oh, I can't remember. I will put it down here to let you know. But in my Yantan Tetherer Spangles colourway. Another Yantan Tetherer, and you will see that these definitely need a good soak, and even the ends need weaving in. These were knit, I can't remember the name of the colourway, but it's the Hermione Everyday Sock. They look quite big, and I think they've just got saggy through use. So a soak and a reblock will do those the world of good. You can see there's a little end that needs weaving in there. These, I'm not sure why they're in the box, but I'll show you anyway. These, I think these were the first socks that I ever knit. I'm not sure. It was between certainly one of these two pairs. These were knit out of Tough Love sock, a vanilla latte sock. I enjoyed that, and I'd like to knit some more using the Sweet Georgia Tough Love sock. I think that's right. Really lovely, substantial yarn that. And then finally for socks, some Arnie and Carlos, which you will see definitely need some ends weaving in. I like those. They're nice and wintry, aren't they? So I'd like to get those finished off ASAP. So that's it for the socks. I think I could probably get those done in a couple of evenings, watching a bit of television. So definitely for next time they will be done. I thought I'd show you a couple of the shawls as well. How can I do this? Last summer, not this summer just gone, but last summer I knit the Industry shawl by Libby Johnson of Truly Myrtle. I love Libby's patterns. Look, ends need weaving in, and it really does need a good block to bring out the best of it. But the yarn that I used was a Yantan Tetherer yarn. One of her, I don't know if she calls them calls it the Cornish collection, but it's based on a visit to Cornwall. Pretty, isn't it? So that definitely needs a block and a weave in. I'd really like to wear that. I also knit I think this was at the turn of the year, the Antarctis shawl by, it's either Melanie Berg or Amber O'Brien. Again, I'll put the information down here. That needs a good block and ends weaving in. This is shocking. I really feel so ashamed, but as I said, spur on, this will all get fixed. So that was knit out of Hazel Knits 4-ply sock yarn. If I fold it up, there are all sorts of lovely greens and blues and greys in this. I really do like the colourway. If I hold that up, I think you might be able to see it. Nice colours, very much my sort of colours. I also knit this year, gosh, this is really soft and I love it. I really, really, really want to wear this because I'd had my eye on it for a long time, and I'd been waiting to find the right yarn to use, and I found it. It was one of Helen at Yantan Tetherer's yarns, and it's the Settler shawl. But as you can see, it needs a block, it needs the ends weaving in. The yarn is, the whole knit is really soft, and I really would like to get that round my neck, but it's really very lovely. So that's a definite priority. And then the one that I'm not very happy with, and I'll show you, I think I just picked the wrong colours to go together. I think the green is wrong. It's a Lily Pilly. I finished this at the beginning of the year, and if you know the Lily Pilly, it's a long sort of wrap type shawl with some blocks of lace work and then stripes and lace and stripes again. And it needs a block, it needs, well, the ends are all woven in, there's a thing, eh? But it definitely needs a block to bring out the lace, as you will see. I mean, it is such a pretty pattern, such a pretty shawl, but I'm just not, I don't know, the colours actually look okay on the screen. I don't know what it is about it, there's just something for me that just isn't right. Maybe once it's blocked. Maybe once it's blocked it'll be better and I'll fall back in love with it. So this was knit using Bahram U Titus. I forget the colourways. We'll see. I'll let you know how the blocking goes and whether that changes anything. So that is my box of shame. It was actually quite nice to go through it. I'm glad I've got it out. I will deal with it. I really will, and I will bring it back to report on next time. There you go. Okay, so that's everything really that I've got to show you today. I said I was going to have a little chat about my Etsy shop. So if you don't want to hear that, thank you ever so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And hopefully see you next time. But if you want to hear what my plans are for Etsy over the coming weeks, then stick around. So if you've been looking in my Etsy shop, you will have noticed that it is frequently very empty. And that's for a very good reason. Bags have been going in, but they just get snapped up so quickly. And I am so grateful to everybody who has been buying my bags. It's really very, it just makes me so happy that you are liking what I'm doing. I would love to be able to put more bags in the shop, but as I work full time, it's quite difficult to. I work full time in another job. It's quite difficult to find the time to be constantly updating the shop. So I get as many bags in as I possibly can, as quickly as I can. And I had an update last weekend, which just absolutely stunned me. Your response, thank you. It sold out within about 3 minutes. I feel a little bit like a big band whose tickets all get snapped up straight away. I was out with my girlfriends and I was just saying to them, look, I just need to update my shop. I'll be with you in a couple of minutes. By the time I got back to them, everything had gone. It was just amazing. So thank you all so very much. So that made me think. I've had messages from people saying how disappointed in a nice way they are that they have missed the updates. So what I'm going to be doing over the next few weeks is just to be dropping bags into the shop as they get made, rather than having another big update before Christmas, and that hopefully will give people the opportunity to find something still available in the shop. I have got a few custom orders that I'm finishing off, and they will be done over the next week, and will be sent out. So if you're waiting for one of those, it'll be on its way very soon. And if anybody does have any requests for custom orders, please do feel free to get in touch with me. As I said, time is difficult, but if I have got the time and the space to do it, I give myself a few slots each month for custom orders. So if there are slots available, I am of course very, very happy to meet any requests that come in. So do feel free to get in touch, either on Etsy or via Instagram are probably the best ways. So really that's all I think I have to say. Just looking at the notes that I made. Or maybe I'll knit future knitting plans. No, I will save that for next time, I think. I want to try and get all my whips as close to being finished off as possible before Christmas, because I have got some plans going forward into the next year that include my first garment. So we'll talk about that next time. So until then, I'd very much like to get another podcast in before Christmas. So that is the plan. I'm hoping that December might be a little bit quieter in terms of shop front and other things. That gives me a bit more time for knitting and a bit more time for podcasting. So until the next time, thank you ever so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you would like to be notified when the next podcast comes up, please do subscribe. If you've enjoyed the podcast, please do click on the like button. And if you've got any comments or want to ask me any questions... Oh, questions. Somebody asked me what was I wearing around my neck last time, and I've put it on again today because I love wearing it. This is probably my most worn knit. And it's the Rattan shawl by from Truly Myrtle. Very straightforward pattern. Lots of twisted rib and garter stripes, and it's knit in a Yantan Tetherer yarns. Really lovely, sort of silky yarn. So that's what I was wearing last time. You probably see it fairly frequently because I do wear it a lot. Anyway. I digressed. Let's finish off. So as I was saying, thank you ever so much. If you've enjoyed, please subscribe, please like, please ask me any questions you'd like, and I will get back to you as quickly as I can. So until the next time, happy knitting, happy crafting, and see you soon. Bye.